Did I ever tell you guys about the one and only loan that I didn't close? When I say that, I don't mean that every single loan I touch ends up getting approved and making it to the finish line. I'm saying by the time I say you're pre-approved and I write a pre-approval letter and I let you make an offer and go under contract on a home, I have closed every single loan with the exception of one. Not to pat myself on the back, but I don't know any other loan officer that has done the volume that I've done that can truly say the same thing, but that one loan still bothers me, still haunts me. Literally think about it all the time. And here's what happened. Long story short, this individual was a traveling nurse. They had a 2-year history of being a traveling nurse. Traveling nurse income is notoriously difficult to qualify, but this particular one was going to be pretty straightforward, other than the fact that they switch jobs very regularly, as traveling nurses do. And over the most recent 6 months, the jobs that they had were showing declining income. Now, when there's declining income, and this is the case for any type of income, but specifically for traveling nurses, when there's declining income, we have to qualify you based on what you are making right in that moment. We can't take a 24-month average like we can if you have increasing income. So while they qualified, it was tight. So we had to make sure that we got the homeowner's insurance as low as we could, not go into a community with a really high HOA, all that good stuff. We had ordered a verification of employment very early on. Everything looked good. We submitted the file. It was a fairly lengthy escrow for several different reasons, but long story short, we ended up needing to get an updated verification of employment toward the end. And the VOE comes in, verification of employment comes in, and it shows that the buyer or borrower is making significantly less than what it showed previously. Pay stubs didn't match, old VOE was showing a higher number, and so I go back to the buyer or borrower and ask, did you change jobs recently? And I was informed, yes, in fact, they took on a new contract at a lower hourly rate and variable hours. Now, obviously, if you watch my videos, you know that that's a big deal when you change jobs without telling your loan officer. And while I've definitely had that happen in the past, there has always been some way to either come up with a larger down payment, pay off some debt, or the ratio still worked because we had some wiggle room. But in this case, that just wasn't an option. And to make matters worse, this was one of those last minute nightmares where we're like 3 weeks, 4 weeks into the process, getting ready to close, like literally getting to the point where we should be ordering loan docs within a few days, only to find out that the income dramatically changed. Oh, and the funny part is, or it's not really funny, but it's kind of funny to me, that particular community put me on some type of blackball list where if you're buying in that community, you cannot use me as your lender because of how that transaction did not close. The likelihood that I will get a buyer in that community again across the country is probably pretty low, so it is what it is. But my one and only transaction that did not close was so traumatic that I am now on the do not use list for this particular HOA community.